What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 16 matchup with the Oakland Raiders on Christmas Eve night in prime time in Pittsburgh, fighting for their playoff lives on the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. That's a mouthful. I'm going to be quick tonight, guys. It is Christmas Eve. I've had stuff going on. There are things going on around me. I've got a bunch of plans tomorrow. I know you guys are all busy. I hope you're having an awesome Christmas season, enjoying your families and your holiday seasons off. It is very cold right now in Pittsburgh. My kitchen is freezing. I have the windows boarded up. It is 12 right now. It feels like 4 degrees. So I'm going to be quick tonight. Again, this was Pittsburgh fighting for their playoff lives. Losing, they are out. Winning, they've still got a chance. Trying to get to 7-8. Playing the Raiders, who they always have trouble with. Oakland always gives Pittsburgh trouble, and normally in recent times beats Pittsburgh. Super cold on the field. I was invited to go to the game for free, offered free tickets by multiple friends, and I turned it down because my body can't handle the cold. And this was, with the wind chill, the second coldest game in Pittsburgh Steelers history, the announcer said. Felt like 4 degrees, sometimes in the negative tonight. So really cold day. Now to start this off, I got to say I came into this game this week saying I would start Mitch Trubisky if I was the coach. I know, don't come for me, don't cancel me. I know Kenny Pickett is the rookie that needs playing time. I know he's got a higher ceiling. But for a player coming off his second concussion, been banged up, been injured multiple times, Trubisky is healthier, Trubisky is more experienced, Trubisky has more of the playbook opened up. And Trubisky right now, as of this moment, is the better overall player. In spite of the picks, sometimes both players do it. Trubisky right now is the more experienced and better overall player. To come into a cold game like this, when you know it's going to be one of the coldest games you're ever going to play in, you know they're going to restrict the playbook. Kenny Pickett already has a restricted playbook. And to come into a cold game like this, coming off an injury with a restricted playbook, even more so than usual, it's a rough game to play in. I would have started Trubisky. They started Pickett. We started rough. Oakland comes down the field to open the game, scores a very solid opening drive touchdown. Josh Jacobs looks good. They start throwing the ball a little bit. Hunter Renfro's back and healthy for the first time in a while. They start looking really good on a long drive that goes for a touchdown. Pittsburgh gets a short drive. Oakland gets the ball back and finishes the first quarter with the ball. They are up 7-0. They're controlling the clock. It is not looking good for us. From that point forward, the offense pretty much takes a nosedive. Both teams wind up settling for field goals. Pittsburgh's missing field goals. When you're in cold weather like this, when it's below freezing like this, field goals are not happening. Extra points aren't happening. We've been seeing it the last week or two as the weather's gotten colder. Extra points, field goals, nothing is a gimme. Most things are missed. I wouldn't recommend field goals today. It did prove at times to be hard for us. But the offense kind of took a nosedive. The final score of this game is 13-10. Oakland starts with a 7-0 lead, goes into the locker room up 10-3 at halftime, and Pittsburgh comes out and gets a 10-0 second half, allowing 60 yards in the entire second half. Pittsburgh's defense overall played really, really well. In spite of the fact they got off to a slow start. Josh Jacobs was held in check. He did have a 39-yard rush that was called back on a tight end offensive face mask. Otherwise, only had 44 yards on the ground as the league's leading rusher. So very good job overall on him. Devontae Adams was held in check for the most part. He did get open on a couple of plays. He had a couple of release plays and a couple of comebackers that he was open on. But both quarterbacks were throwing high a lot today. Accuracy is a hard problem when you get in the cold because you're wearing extra layers, you're wearing extra gloves, the ball's extra hard, everything sails on you. So both quarterbacks were missing guys open throughout the game. Devontae Adams did get open a lot and was missed by Carr. Also, Kenny Pickett missed Deontay Johnson several times across the middle as he got open. There were a lot of missed balls in this game that I will get to. Now, Pittsburgh comes out overall, had a hard time on defense covering some of the sit-down zone plays, the guys that were in the middle of the field, namely Darren Waller, who got a nice 30-yard catch to extend a Raiders drive that resulted in a field goal, and Hunter Renfro, who got 4 or 5 really nice catches in the middle of the field. That was Oakland's main offense after the first drive. That's pretty much it. Pittsburgh had a hard time sitting down in that zone and stopping that middle play. It was a little Miles Jack. It was a little Devin Bush. It was a little bit of Levi Wallace having a hard time staying with Hunter Renfrow, as he's really good at the middle of the field stuff. Other than that, really good on defense. Offensively, nothing much to speak of. A couple good running plays, played pretty conservatively, threw the ball short of the stick sometimes. Really nice. Saw a couple of the receivers do some really nice things. We'll get into it. Here are the stats. Kenny Pickett overall, day doesn't look too bad considering coming off an injury in a cold game. 26 of 39, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The touchdown was very, very nice. That was the go-ahead touchdown that got us the lead with 1 minute to go in the game. That was a nice quick seam route where George Pickens ran basically a long slant, got inside in the end zone, got in front of the corner, and the safety wasn't able to get over fast enough. Wide open spot in the zone. Really nice throw by Pickett to sling it in there, who had a very nice drive to end the game, very clutch at the end of the game. Found Freiermuth on 2 nice plays, found Najee on 2 dump-offs that Najee went and got yards from, and then found Pickens in the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. Great last drive. Aside from that, not too much to speak of. Deontay Johnson got himself open a lot today. We'll talk about that. Najee Harris overall, nothing looks crazy impressive, but he did rack up some numbers overall. 16 carries, 53 yards, plus 6 catches, 42 yards. Really on those last couple of drives was a nice safety valve for the quarterback who was struggling in the middle of the field. So Najee Harris overall winds up with 95 total yards on 22 touches. Running the ball, kind of inconsistent, had a couple really nice plays on some cutbacks, found some small holes, was doing a nice job in the middle of the pile, just pushing himself forward. Made a couple of guys miss both running and in receiving. And some other plays he was just given nothing to work with. The offensive line was pretty inconsistent today. I would say, a little below average, a little more bad than good, but also not terrible. So maybe like a C-, D+ kind of thing where they weren't terrible, but they didn't give Najee a whole lot. Some plays, again, he made the most of. Other plays were just these 1 yard and -2 yard and stuff like that. A couple of screens got stuffed. A couple of passes got caught in the backfield. So overall, solid day for Najee, but the stuff he did on the last drive, breaking tackles and catching passes, is what separates his performance today to help put Pittsburgh ahead in this win. Deontay Johnson, following his best game of the season last week where I was very impressed, I was also very impressed this week. I only had 5 catches for 64 yards, 4 in the first half, 1 in the second half. But overall, I like what he was doing. He was getting himself open, and he was catching the ball. There was only one ball that went off of his hands that could be considered a drop. It was really high. Probably shouldn't even have got to his hands. He did a nice job getting up for it. Another play that Pickett was scrambling around on was very high that Deontay did catch. So I wouldn't consider that a drop. They might call it in the stat book a drop, but overall 5 catches for 64. Deontay got himself open on some nice comeback routes. Really just does a nice job getting space on slants, on comebacks, on in and out routes. He just does a great job getting separation and using his fast feet and turning around back to the ball very nicely. Again, 5 catches, but easily could have had like 8 or 9. There were 2 or 3 times across the middle that Pickett missed Deontay, once off his hands, twice over his head, that Deontay was wide open. He got himself in the middle of the field where he could have had anywhere between 12 and 25 yards, where he was open and there was no one behind him. He could easily have had another 100-yard game here, but Pickett was missing a lot, mostly due to the weather and the glove situation. Pat Freiermuth, real solid day. I love what Freiermuth is doing. He just embodies Pittsburgh right now. He's one of the brightest shining stars on this team. 7 catches, 66 yards, including 2 really nice catches on that game-winning drive. One was a short pass that he wound up breaking some tackles and getting some nice yardage down inside of the 2-minute warning. And the next one was a nice sideline catch that he tapped his elbow down to get down in bounds as he was juggling the ball. 2 nice catches at the end there. Freiermuth is just a real heads-up guy. He looks back at the ball a lot. He makes the most out of short yardage plays. He breaks tackles. He's got sure hands. Freiermuth has been an emerging star for this team. Speaking of emerging stars for this team, George Pickens, 5 catches, 57 yards, and the game-winning touchdown, like I said, on that nice play in the middle. He also caught another nice sideline ball. It was like a 20-something yard play downfield. Sideline ball where he went up and caught it with his hands. He's, again, one of the best combat catchers, one of the most uncoverable receivers, and one of the best hands catchers in the entire NFL. And for somebody with this little experience, he's got such a bright future here. He just has that Jefferson Chase. He has, Devontae Smith. He has that young pedigree where he's already making a difference, and you could see where he could easily put up 1,500 yards next season, like one of the elite young receivers that's come out in the last 2 years. Very much like what George Pickens is doing, get that guy more targets. I'm going to say it every week. Offensive line, like I said, overall not terrible. There were 2 holding calls. One, I think, was on Gentry. One was on Kevin Dotson. No big surprise there. Couple of nice run plays on seal blocks from Moore. I haven't talked much about Dan Moore positively this year. Couple nice seal blocks for Dan Moore. Once on a run for Najee. Once on a cutback run for Jaylen Warren, who I think, again, is an underrated X factor for us, who's a great third down change of pace guy. Love him being in the lineup, and I like what he did tonight, both in receiving and rushing as well. Defensively, like I said, the one opening drive looked really bad. That first drive and a half was looking like it was going to be a long night for Pittsburgh. Tightened up on Jacobs, tightened up on Waller except for the one deep catch. Hunter Renfrow was the only guy really getting us, but the 2 stars on the team, Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, did not do much, so I credit the defense for that. 3 interceptions. Derek Carr, much like Kenny Pickett, was high. Anytime that he tried sideline throws, he was throwing out of bounds. He was misreading Devontae a lot today. They were on the wrong page. 2 or 3 times he was throwing comeback or sideline routes when Devontae was streaking and stuff like that. Also missed across the middle of the field several times for us, which helped us big time. First pick was Arthur Maulet. I didn't discuss Kenny Pickett's pick. That was a bad interception. He looked back to Connor Hayward, didn't read the middle linebacker, and threw it right to him. So bad pick for Kenny Pickett there. He's got to be careful on turnovers. He went 5 games without a pick after 8 in his first couple. Was good last couple games. Bad pick here. Derek Carr, not David Carr, my God. Derek Carr had 3 picks tonight, all bad picks. The first one was a behind the throw to Arthur Maulet. It was Maulet actually did a nice job tipping the ball away from Foster Moreau. A little bit high. He tipped it out of Moreau's hand and then caught it himself. Excellent play by Maulet. Love that. Minkah Fitzpatrick on a throw that was, I think, to a tight end. That was behind the tight end. Minkah just jumped the route smartly as he does. I think might have been a deflection as well. He's excellent at reading those deflections, getting fast hands, and getting himself in position to make those big plays. So Minkah keeps doing what Minkah does. And Cam Sutton at the end with the game-sealing pick for the Steelers. Once again, the problem today, guarding Hunter Renfrow. He was wide open in the middle of the field. Hunter Renfrow had 20 yards on us. Wide open middle of the field. Derek Carr just overshot it. He threw it too far inside and too far downfield. Cam dove ahead of Hunter Renfrow and made a beautiful interception to seal the game for us. So if it wasn't for those turnovers from Carr being high and erratic, they could have won this game and stayed in their own playoff contention. 3 picks for the defense, very nice. Want to also call out the sacks. We got 3 sacks today. Cam Hayward was a man possessed. He had a beautiful tackle on the backfield in the run game. He had 2 sacks today, and he had a batted ball. Cam Hayward was everywhere. He was playing with that spirit today that Franco Harris has, and I will get to that in a second, but playing with that spirit of Franco Harris. 2 sacks, a batted ball, and a tackle on the running backs. Alex Highsmith with a beautiful stun play, faked inside, spun around, curved back inside, beautiful sack on that play. 3 for the Steelers. Also want to call out Robert Spillane, who didn't do much in coverage tonight, but was doing what his strength was, and that is downhill thumping. 7 tackles today, leading the team. He's one of the best tackling players we have when it comes to downhill rushing. When it comes to rushing the quarterback downhill, or when it comes to especially running after the running back and trying to stuff the running game and staying close to the line of scrimmage, Spillane's very good. That's his strength. He did it very well all night tonight. He was all over the field in the run game, breaking up those plays. 7 tackles for him. He and Hayward were 2 big stars tonight on top of the guys with the picks. Also want to say, I thought the interior defensive line gets a big plus tonight. You saw a lot of guys cave in and stuff the run game after that first drive. Cam was a big part of that. But I want to talk about Tyson Alualu, who was effective tonight on 2 or 3 of those plays. I want to talk about Montravis Adams, who was in there several times. I want to talk about DeMarvin Leal, who didn't show up on the stat sheet, but he collapsed the interior of the run game several times in this game, and I like a lot of what we saw from them. So Pittsburgh comes back, holds Oakland at just 10 points, only 3 points the entire game after that bad opening drive. Winds up outscoring Oakland 10-0 in the second half, allowing just like 60 total yards for the entire half. Defense shuts it down. Pickett gets clutch in the end, makes smart plays, and gets the game winner. Pittsburgh gets up to 7-8, gets the rare win against Oakland in a tough situation. Had they won against Baltimore, they'd be sitting right now at 8-7, and they'd probably be in the playoffs right now, if not right on the fringe. They'd be in a great spot with one more win. But right now they're sitting at 7-8, 2 games to go. Can they get in the playoffs? Can they get the help they need? And can they get that winning season to keep Tomlin's streak alive? We'll find out in the next 2 weeks, but you got to feel good about getting a primetime win with a Kenny Pickett clutch game-winning touchdown pass drive. Special teams was tough tonight. Boswell just 2 of 4. Again, you're kicking in a very tough stadium to begin with and an open-ended part of the field in the coldest game of the year, so that is what it is. Presley Harvin, 46.7 yards on average, 1 punt inside the 20, 3 punts for 140. Overall, solid game for him. So Pittsburgh gets the win and gets to 7-8. I just want to say, Franco Harris, obviously this was the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. The Immaculate Reception game against the Raiders here tonight. This was going to be the retiring of Franco Harris's jersey. And of course, those of you guys watching know that he passed away just a few days ago, just before he could be there on the field to see his number retired. And I'm sure he would have loved that. So this is one of the all-time catastrophic senses of bad timing, where somebody's about to be honored for one of the best plays in NFL history and get their jersey retired in front of their home crowd, and they pass away just before it. So if you guys want to see a career retrospective of me covering Franco Harris's career, some stats, some memories, stuff like that, I will do that. If not, I understand. But I do want to say, Franco Harris, thank you for that Steeler toughness. You embodied the legendary Steeler mentality in the time when the Steelers were at their biggest peak of their dynasty. And everyone that I know that knows you and has met you has said nothing but good things about you. So just thank you, sir. You'll be missed. Thank you for your contributions on the field and the things you've done off the field. Everyone that I've talked to that has been a fan and friend of yours has said nothing but good things about you. And me, and watching back all the archival footage, I just really appreciate the player and the person that I've heard and seen that you were. So thank you, Franco, for embodying this, my friend. This win goes to you. Thank you, sir. I will see you guys next week when it's warmer, when it's a little less chaotic. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I want you guys to enjoy the holidays, be among your family and friends, appreciate everything you have in your life, count your blessings, hold your people tight because you never know when their last day is, and enjoy the days that you have with them. Love yourselves and each other. I'll see you soon.